Alright, we're going to do a tubeless setup on this bike. This is a 2019 Trek Fuel EX7. It is a tubeless ready bicycle in to some capacity, but we're going to do everything to make this bike tubeless today. So the advantage of tubeless is that it's going to allow you to run lower pressures, let the tire conform better to trail, eliminate pinch flats, and just give you an overall better ride. So this bike comes set up with tubes from the factory. So first thing we're going to do is just let the air out of the tube. Super easy. Then next step, we're going to just pull the tire off. Pull the tire halfway off, reach inside there, yank our tube out. A little retaining nut on the valve. There's our tube. We don't need that. Then we're going to pull the rest of our tire off. To pull the second half of the tire off, you don't need the tire lever anymore. Just take it, slide it right off. Note here is that tires have a direction of rotation. And depending upon your tire, sometimes you can tell by the tread, sometimes you can't. But there is always an arrow on here someplace that's going to show you direction of rotation. So it's going to show you direction and an arrow. That means the tire is going to roll this way. So that's direction of rotation. So when we put that back on the bike, we're going to make sure that that's proper. So this comes set up with just a regular rim strip. This rim strip is not tubeless compatible. It's made of a fabric that's just going to leak air. So we're going to have to take that off. And you can see this is just a really lightweight fabric. You can really almost see right through it. Really designed, you can see these little dimples in there. That's just designed to keep the tube from creeping into the holes there and popping. So since we're not running a tube, we can get rid of this and put on a tubeless ready tape. Okay, so our tubeless ready tape. So let's start by finding our valve hole right here. And we're going to take our tubeless tape. So for today, we're going to use Gorilla Tape, available in lots of different stores. I like Gorilla Tape as one option, easy to obtain. So we're going to start with Gorilla Tape, and we're going to overlap to the next center of the spoke bed. So this is our valve hole here, and we're going to go to our next spoke bed here, and start in between right there. So pull it down, I hold it tight with my thumb. I'm going to put a lot of tension on this as I pull back, and keeping it centered on the rim bed the whole time. Pushing down a little bit as we go around. The nice thing about Gorilla Tape is that it's very strong. You can put a lot of tension on it when you pull it. Good tension will seal it nicely. This stuff is very, very airproof. Keep you from leaking. It's not affected by the sealants, and it's super sticky, so it stays in place. Neatness counts here, so making sure that we are centered in the rim bed really makes a difference. If you ride too much up on the sides of the bead, that's going to affect how the tire is going to sit. All right, so as we come here to where we started, we're going to overlap in the valve area. And then we're going to come, the valve hole is right here. So we're going to overlap just a little bit past. And then tear it. Tears nice and easy, nice and straight. And then I'm going to go around one more time with my thumbs and really push it down tight. Really making sure we're getting good adhesion on the edges, on the corners, in the bed. This is a really good step to do. Make sure you got it on there right. Because if it's loose, it's hard to go back in, and once it gets sealant on the backside of the tape, you got to pull the tape up, throw it out. All right, there we go. Next step, we're going to put our valve in. Here's a little trick I like. Some people like to punch a hole. I like to use the valve to punch the hole. So just like a regular valve, we're going to tighten down the inner nut on the valve so that thing's nice and firm. What I'm going to do is, again, find the valve hole here, which is right here. I'm going to push it up from the bottom, and you can see the little dimple forming right here. It just gives me a little marker so I know the area where I'm at. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to push it straight through. It's really going to rip straight to the tape. And that way, we have a hole that's exactly the right size of the valve. Not too big, nothing to worry about. Every valve has a little rubber sealer on it, different shapes. I like the nice round ones. They sit nice in the rim bed, in the spoke hole. So I'm going to take that, push it down with my thumb all the way, and really set it nicely into the rim. Take your nut, and we're going to push down with my thumb and tighten the nut up at the same time. And you don't use a tool for this. This is just finger pressure all the way. And I'm using my thumb to push down nice and tight, not just a nut to pull it. So by doing that, tighten that, I'm not going to rip the valve out. So that's it. So we're all set. Now, the rotor runs on the left-hand side, so this is like we're sitting on the bike. We have the direction of rotation like this, which is proper. So we're going to put this back on. So when we put our tire back on, we're going to do this without any tools. Okay, so we got half the tire on the rim. Now we have to put sealant in there. There's two ways to do this. One is you can put the tire on all the way, take the valve core out, and inject it through the valve core. Certainly one option. It's a little bit more difficult to do. Option two is to put some of the tire on, pour it in the open section, and then put it back on. I do it that way. It's a little quicker. I think it's a little cleaner because I don't have to get another injection tool out. Before we do that also, sort of a pro tip is that you take the valve and you can line it up with index it on the tire. So every tire does it differently. You can figure out where to index it. This is a Bontrager tire. So on the Bontrager tires, I like to index it right where, if this is a Bontrager XR4 Team Edition. So I do it right there, on that particular tire. It's just sort of a little cleaner, more professional way to do it. So our sealant. So we got some sealant here. Always shake it. I'll mix it up really nice. So sealant. So I'll start to install part of the tire. So now I got a little bit left open here. Take our sealant. This is a 2.3 tire. So upon a 2.3 tire, we're going to use, depending upon your riding conditions and how you ride it, somewhere between 4 and 6 ounces. So on this here, I'm just checking to see how much we have. There's a little sight on the side. That is right around 4 ounces in there. So you can see it sloshing around at the bottom. So what I'll do is keep it on the bottom, nice and clean, and I'll start pushing my tire on. And that's it. That way we're nice and clean. I didn't have to inject into here at all. Really simple and straightforward. Okay, the final process of tubeless here, which is a little bit challenging at times. If you have a compressor, very easy with a compressor. It's difficult sometimes. Some tires you can do it with just a regular hand pump. Sometimes you can't. So we're going to use our compressor here. It's already set. Put on our valve. And hopefully we'll be able to bead right up. You'll hear it snap. And we're in. So I usually start with about 40 psi, Close our valve here. And then we got to get the tubeless sealant. We need to get the tubeless sealant mixed around inside the tire. You can just do a little basketball hop here. So spinning it, letting it bounce on the ground is one option. Some people like to roll it on the side so it gets all on the sidewall. So that sealant that we put inside there is now moving all around inside. It's coating everything nicely. Okay, we got them moved around. So after you set up your sealant and set up your tire, you put your bike away for the night. You may come out tomorrow and it may be flat. Don't freak out. Put air in it again and take it for a ride. Sometimes riding the bike is going to help seat everything really nicely. Sometimes it takes one ride, sometimes it takes 2 rides. But usually 1 ride should be sufficient. And what you're going to do is work the bead of the tire into the bead of the rim. It'll give it a nice seal, let everything seal really nicely. It'll move the sealant around where it needs to be. And you're usually fine after that. And that's setting up a tubeless tire.